What's good, ladies and gentlemen? So we're here today with Hibike Euphonium episode 3 reaction. Ooh. So in the last episode we had, essentially what happened was that all the characters, I can't say all the characters now, can I? But like the characters that we've been following, technically all the characters in the group, I mean we haven't been introduced to all the characters, granted, but like the majority of the characters that we have been introduced, no. All the characters that we have been introduced have learned. They've all picked out, we've all learned their instrument. So you all now know what they are going to be playing. I mean, if you haven't watched the opening and if you haven't watched the ending, I guess, you know, I guess you wouldn't know what they're playing, but obviously the opening and the endings already showed what they were going to be playing. So it was only only a matter of time, but hey, we all know what they're all going to be playing now, the instruments. We all know that they're now going to be learning. Some of them obviously are more proficient than others, but that's a-okay. You know why that's a-okay? Because at the end of the day, music is a skill. And it doesn't actually matter how many years you've been doing it, because efficient practice is better than mindless practice. You know, my teacher would always used to say, back when I used to still try and like effectively try and learn music. I mean, I've got my piano right behind the webcam actually, because I've been getting back into it. But my teacher used to say that it's much better to do half an hour of efficient practice than 2 or 3 hours of just mindless practice, because at the end of the day, efficient practice, you know, if you have a goal, if you actually have a target for your practice, you know, a schedule, a plan for your practice, you're always going to get much further than someone that just sits down and is like, let me just mess around on the keys, which is basically what I used to do all the time, and I still do all the time. That's always been my big issue. Like, I would be on the piano for like 4 or 5 hours when I was like more into it, and actually like, practice would probably be only like 30 minutes, and then I'd have like an hour lesson with my piano teacher, and in that 1 hour I'd do more than I did during the whole week. Like during, you know, 20 hours or so during the entire week, I would, in that 1 hour I would do like 10 times more. So it's just one of those things that if you actually have a direct targeted plan, it's much better. So that's what they're gonna have to do. Obviously they want to win the competitions. That's what they decided on. So it's time to be efficient with your practice. It's time to do good practice, to work as a team. Obviously it's much different being a soloist than it is being in an ensemble cast. So in this scenario, you know, all we can really do is hope for the best for them and see what they can do. That's really what it boils down to. You know, see what they can do and just go on from there. So let us see what episode 3 has in store for us, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you want to get early access for this, as well as for Length, it's available on Patreon. I know I never mentioned Patreon ever, but I'm told I have to mention it more, so I'm going to be trying to mention it more. Haha. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, episode 3, let us get started. Right into the opening. They just kind of have like a neutral attitude, not a positive, not a negative one, just a neutral one. Short meeting, okay. Okay. That's why I couldn't be on these kind of instruments. Yeah, this is why I couldn't be. Like the silent breathing as well, where like basically you play the instruments in a way where like if you're inhaling, nobody is supposed to like hear it. And there she goes. No, she's fine. Yeah, she's fine. I feel like getting my violin out just for this, I don't know why. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're supposed to listen to it first. Play it. Every instrument sounds different, so I don't think it's eyes more than sound. Chupacabra. Chupacabra, yeah. The hardest thing. Can't just. Yeah. This guy just dipped. Which would be what? They've got new members in each sector. Marin's hymn. Marin's, I mean, just from the notes, it doesn't look too difficult. Musical themes, saxophone. She's. Alright there, my dear Sapphire-chan. She's like, heavy. That's pretty decent. Not from your lungs. Yeah. There's 3 lips. It's not. It's not that. No, it's not that difficult. They all quit. They probably failed so badly in a competition that they quit. Wow. It tells you the hurts. I like this show. She's good. Everyone froze up for a second there. Yeah, chill out. Exactly. Sheesh. These guys make it so dramatic. This is if all the second years revolted or something. You know, why are you sorry? Why are you sorry? The new, yeah, I understand. The flute and the piccolo. Man, if it was up to me, oh, there's so many good symphonies that I like. Some of them, the tone is dying for some of them. That's the big issue. That's what I heard. Well done. I've never heard the piece before, I'll say this right now. I heard a few things. Wasn't in time. That's the first thing that I felt like. Yeah. Not as individuals, as an ensemble. Together, as a group, complementing each other. Not as individuals, not as sections. Playing like a unit. Yeah.
トロンボーンの皆さんはこのメトロノームに合わせて最初から吹いてください。いいですか？ 1、2、3、4。はい、そこまで。
Yeah.
皆さん、この演奏を聞いてどう思いました？良いと思った人、良くないと思った人。あなたたちはそういうことを気にするレベルにはありません。来週まともなレベルになってなかったら参加しなくていいと私は思っています。失礼。
Oh, this guy is harsh. I like it. I like it. You're the ones that chose.
いきなり来てサンフェス出ないとかありえないんだけど。
っていうかまた1週間この曲練習しろっていうのかよ。
ああ、そういうことで。
What was up with her though? Like she was kind of like seeing the notes everywhere. Nope. Hon. She's gonna have the whole collection ready.
月に手を伸ばすのが緑の心情です。たとえ届かなくても。はい、行くよ。ああ、待ってください。でも今日の合奏って3人
It was.
まあね。
あとした2年生の。
Yeah.
でも後藤先輩やリコ先輩はとても真面目だと思いますけど。
そりゃそういう先輩もいるけどさ。今日の練習後のみんなの文句の言い方見たら。
Yep. They're not built for this.
まともに練習してるとこ見たことないもん。
そうなんだ。
They're not built for this.
あれ二人とも何してんの？アスカ、まだいたの？
Ask.
なんかむしゃくしゃしたからずっと一人で吹いてた。で、二人は何？秘密の相談してるのかい？違うよ。各自自由練習でいいんじゃないかって話もあったんだけど。
それじゃあ意味がないっていう人もいてね。パートリーダー会議が終わるまでは練習は休みにすることになって。本当にごめん。
Wow.
部長の話では一部の生徒が先生の方針に対してどうするべきかを決めるまでは練習しないと言い出したし。
Yeah, I understand how she feels actually. They all. That's kind of annoys me. For those that really wanted to be in the competition, you know, everyone else slacking off essentially instead of getting better.
でも吹奏楽って個人競技じゃないよね。
It's a group activity.
みんなが同じ方向を向いて
Exactly.
みんなで頑張らなきゃ意味がなくて。
That's why it's so much easier if you were just soloist.
イライラしながら頑張るのってどれ？高坂さんだよ。高坂さんだよ。
Can tell. Everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone has heard Dvorak. It's New World Symphony. It's the do 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 do. Or how I like to call it, this Jaws one. I share your pain.
そしてこんにちは。次の曲が始まるのです。
And now the next piece begins. To be continued, ladies and gentlemen. Tutti frutti. I'm gonna pause it here. I know. I'm staying true to my reputation, always never listening to the endings and openings. I did listen to the opening, and I have listened to the ending. But, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this, alright? I absolutely share Kumiko's frustration. Because at the end of the day, not just her frustration, everyone's frustration. Because at the end of the day, right, the way I see it, you all had not Kumiko, Kosaka, you all had a choice, right? The choice was, do you want to play for fun, or do you want to go to nationals? They said we want to go to nationals. So practice. Actually practice. You're not going to go to nationals by fucking about. And that's why it is that are obviously much more determined, much more serious, much more focused, such as, for example, Kosaka, who obviously in episode 1, we saw how frustrating it was when she didn't make it. You know, she's someone that puts in the time and the effort and wants to actually make it, but at the end of the day, it is an ensemble. She's not performing, you know, in a trumpet competition, I guess, where like just her. No, it's not that. That's not the case at all. So that's why it's clear why it's so frustrating for her, because at the end of the day, you know, it's an ensemble. No man is an island, basically. And in this case, it's just if your team isn't putting any effort, it's like a sport, really. But I feel like in a sport, it's a lot different, because in a sport, you know, if someone has an off day, the other members can compensate. It doesn't really work that way in an orchestra. That's not going to work, because at the end of the day, in an orchestra, you know, in a symphony, if you're playing a symphony, you know, say, I don't know, the string section is off, that's going to mess up the whole piece. That's going to mess up the whole piece. That's ultimately what you have a conductor for. You know, a conductor is like, oh, no. You lot are messing up. Louder or quieter, or yeah, that's ultimately their job. But at the end of the day, you know, if they're messing up, they're messing up. The conductor can do as much as he wants. Very rarely they restart a piece. But if you're not good enough, you're just not good enough. That's ultimately what it boils down to. And in this case, they're not practicing enough. You know, as I was saying in this episode, you know, some of the sections they'd never even practice at all. So, you know, they might be playing an easy piece. And yes, you know, I'm gonna be honest here. Easy pieces, because they are so easy, sometimes you kind of just wing it. I've most certainly done it in the past. I think it was what piece was it? It was a Bach piece in C major. I forgot how it goes now. But like I was basically told by my long story short, I was basically told to like practice that piece and like see how far I can get in a week, and then come back next week with, you know, my progress. And I was like, I practiced it like on a day after the lesson at home. And I was sight reading, and I basically got to like the end sight reading. I was like, whoa, this piece is actually relatively easy. Even that's how I'm getting really good at sight reading. And I basically didn't practice it, because the first time I basically got to the end without really, you know, any hiccups. And I was like, oh, this is easy. This is simple. I can do this. Yeah, I don't need to practice it. It's so easy. All I need is just sheet music, and I can just wing it. So the next week came, and I was like, yeah, I'll just do the same thing I did last week. I'll just sight read it and wing it. And then suddenly, with a little bit of pressure, you know, the easy piece just completely failed. And the issue with music, of course, is that a lot of pieces are technically easy, or are easy in notes, but not so much in terms of proficiency. You know, you listen to, again, my knowledge mainly comes from like piano pieces, but you listen to something like what's a good example? I'm trying to think of an example. You listen to, like, for example, a Schumann piece. Trying to think, and you listen to different interpretation, and you listen to someone like Horowitz. Let's see, what Schumann piece? Schumann Träumerei. Schumann Träumerei. You listen to anyone, for example, play it, right, and they can play great. I played this piece actually, which is why I was trying to think of like a piece that I played. You listen to, for example, Schumann's Träumerei, right? I think there might actually be a video of me somewhere on YouTube. I think I'm not, maybe just me learning it, maybe not the full version, but that's not the point. Okay, if you were, you could listen to a version of me playing it on YouTube, right? And it's absolutely atrocious. Then you listen to like Horowitz play, and it's like the most beautiful piece you've ever heard in your whole life. And it's the same piece, the same notes, you know, it's the same, it's the same, you know, it's in rhythm, everything is fine, but it's just the difference in touch. And obviously that's very much piano based. The difference in touch, in this case, it'd probably be like the difference in sound quality. Obviously, with the contrabass, for example, with Sapphire, you know, being on a contrabass, you know, what's the thing? Who's the violinist? Hilary Hahn. She's a good example. She was on like a podcast on like two set violins. By the way, Ling Ling 40 hours. You better practice right now. But she was on a podcast on like with Ling Ling with two set violins, And like she was saying, like in her performances, like if she wants, because she obviously plays the violin, and the contrabass is very similar in this case. If she wants like if she wants to evoke a certain emotion, she might just raise the note a little bit, or sharpen the note a little bit, or flatten the notes a little bit. And that's obviously very much doable with an instrument such as the contrabass, where like there is no, as I would say in the piano, there is no sharpened flats. I mean there is, but there is an infinite variation of sharp and flats, because it's all based on finger position. I don't have my violin is upstairs. I'm not gonna get it right now, but there's like an infinite variation of like your finger placements, right? And like for example, let's say this is C, right? C sharp would be down here, but there's obviously a massive gap between C and C sharp, so you can always raise the notes a little bit. So there's a lot of like interpretation differences. I'm sure somebody else could definitely tell the story much better. I'm not that proficient, all right. But like there's variations in sound quality and sound, which is why if anyone that's ever picked up the violin, first month sounds absolutely atrocious. When I bought a violin, I thought my violin was broken. I thought, like, what's going on here? Is this a fake violin? Did I buy the right thing? But like, it's just the quality of sound. It's like there's just different levels, proficiencies. That's why people spend their whole entire lives learning one piece, and even then at the end of their life they might not be satisfied with. So a simple piece, as they're learning here, it's easy to get the notes right, most likely. It's very easy. That beginner I looked at the sheet that was presented. Granted, it wasn't just one stave, but I looked at it. It wasn't too difficult. It didn't look too difficult. Guys, I don't know the techniques. I don't play I don't play the tuba or the euphonium. Or the trumpet or the contrabass. I play a little bit of violin, a little bit more of the piano. What else? Tiny bit of the guitar. Quite a bit of like steel drums. Quite a bit of like normal drums. But that's really it. That's really where my knowledge kind of just stops. But yeah, they decided that they would all do this competition, that they would all want to go to national, and with the Sunfest coming up, make a simple piece sound great. Make it better than it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you all... I was going to say let me know what you all think, but I'll ask this question instead. What is all of your favorite... What are some of your favorite symphonies? Some that come to mind, I mean... Dvorak, I never could say his name. I'll never be able to say his name. Obviously it was mentioned. Mahler has a lot of great symphonies. I really enjoy Beethoven symphonies. I've been, like 2 weeks ago, I was going through all of them. It felt like that kind of day, just like listening to all of them, put my headphones on and just sat there for like 10 hours and just listened to all of them. Yeah, that's basically what I do. Shoot. Who else has really great symphonies? I mean, I like concertos too, but I kind of want to like keep it to like symphonies, because obviously if we're talking about concerto, I think my all-time favorite concerto is probably Tchaikovsky's first piano concerto. Stravinsky. There's so many good pieces out there. Honestly, that's why I just want to know like what you all really like. Again, my knowledge is really just the piano and the violin. So the things that I keep thinking about are like piano and violin. Obviously, then you've got some of the Bach, 4 cello suites and so on and so forth. But let me know, like, so maybe some like lesser known concertos, lesser known symphonies. Might be interesting. Let's enrich everyone with our knowledge. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Everyone, until then, have a nice day. Peace out and bye. Hey everybody, if you like this video, please be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of these kind of videos, be sure to check out Patreon to get 1 week early access as well as full length. Until next time everybody, peace out and have a nice day.